Probation, what's the wait time for ISF? All right, so Mr. Dash, they're wanting to withdraw this motion to revoke and alternate amend conditions to include ISF.
Yes,
You understand that?
Yes, sure.
So can you tell me, is there a reason why you're not doing what you're supposed to do on probation?
They just put me on regular probation out of the drug court. When I was in the drug court, they told me I didn't have to do the.
All right, could everyone whisper? And I'm sorry, could you speak up?
I go put on regular probation from drug court about maybe 3 or 4 months. I had my ID stolen. I'm not trying to make excuses, Your Honor. I just have trying to get my ducks in a row. I having issues with my marriage. This is what's going on. I do apologize. I had no intention on coming in here, having this case brought. It's a new charge, which I would, if advised, I would fight it. But I'm advised this.
No, I mean, no, here's the thing. If you want to fight a case, you're more than welcome to fight a case. The court will hear it.
It's gonna cost me more time, Your Honor.
No. I don't do that. It's going to cost us more time. If somebody wants something heard, we will hear it and I will put it on the docket before you go to ISF. If you want to have a contested hearing on this motion to revoke, we can do it. And I will set it in 2 weeks and we will hear your motion to revoke. Is that what you want?
No, Your Honor.
If I can, on behalf of Mr. Dash is currently homeless. He also has some mental health issues. Original probation had recommendations from McMyoff.
No, I see that on the record.
So we're trying to get him back into, get all his meds going again, and we got a little destabilized. He's got a pending case in County Court 14.
Okay.
That's the one he's talking about. If he had his brothers, he would probably want to fight it, but he understands also that can't bond out.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand how ISF is going to help him with mental health issues. Or is that just we're saying, hey, he needs to be punished a little bit, maybe ISF cognitive?
I think the cognitive track is because he was having some issues trying to understand and follow the rules that were on drug court
Okay,
and in regular probation. And we think that will help him try to align so that he can do those things.
all right, probation, ISF cognitive. If someone has mental health issues and must be on medications, will they be able to facilitate that or no? All right. All right, so you're okay with them withdrawing the motion and alternate amend conditions to ISF cognitive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and who's the complainant in the number one?
It's a gentleman named Brewer. I've been in contact with him, Judge. I haven't asked him about this particular outcome, but I think it's a good way to resolve the issue.
All right, so it's,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
May I confirm, are we talking about state ISF or the Bear County ISF?
Just cognitive.
Cognitive?
Yes.
For Bear, he will not be able to get his medications there
Okay.
because we don't have the nurses staff to provide.
That's-
State ISF, yes.
And what is the wait time for state ISF?
I would have to bear.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Okay.
He's got some serious psychiatric troubles.
All right, so it would be state ISF. And they're going to see what the wait time is.
Yes.
And then, I also can put in here, see if, while he's waiting for state ISF, to see if felony drug court will accept him back.
That'd be great.
If you want to, you'll probably have to call and see if they'll accept him back. But Mr. Dash,
No.
oh, he's saying no?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Dash, sometimes people want to take the easy way out in their life. And then when they take the easy way out, other things end up happening. I know that felony drug court is a great program. They would have helped you with your medications. Is it a difficult program? Yes. Do they have something for you to do every day? Yes, which in life you should be doing something every day, hopefully learning new things. But then you'll be headed to state ISF. They're going to tell me what the wait time is. I think it's longer than 2 to 3 weeks. And then we'll do the no contact with Mr.
I think that's an issue. No. I think it's something.
And from here on out, I know your attorney is saying that there are certain things that you don't understand, but what you need to understand, you're on deferred adjudication for a third-degree felony. So if you get revoked, you're looking at 10 years in the prison. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
1 to 2 months after medical clearance.
So that's 1 to 2 months that you'll be at the Bear County Jail waiting to go to state ISF. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you prefer over being referred back to felony drug court? I mean, it's up to you. I don't know why people have an issue with felony drug court. I used to be an attorney in felony drug court, and I will tell you, felony drug court is hard. Yes, I know people, sometimes lay people think like, oh, that's so easy. He's being sent to felony drug court. But felony drug court is very hard. But I do know that felony drug court helps you with housing, helps you get your medication, helps you get your ID. All of this stuff that you're saying that you couldn't get done, felony drug court will do that. But felony drug court is not going to let you go over there and pretend like all is right with the world and you're not really working on your problems. But otherwise, they're saying alternate amend conditions to include.
What I will tell you was Mr. Dash's main problem with felony drug court,
Mhm.
at least from what he's told me, is that he was having to go and do UAs like literally like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
He's homeless. That's like $55 a week.
Well,
that he
here's-
spent on UAs that he just doesn't have.
I will tell you, felony drug court, if you tell them you don't have the money for that, they will work with you. They will defer the fees on that. Felony drug court, if you tell them that you're homeless, they will help you get a place to stay.
That's his issue.
Now-
And knowing that, he's just told me that he would go back to felony
Yeah.
drug court.
And I will tell you, sometimes when you're homeless, they will say you're staying at Haven for Hope. Sometimes people don't like Haven for Hope, but guess what? It's either you're going to stay at Haven for Hope, or either you're going to live on the street, because sometimes that's all they have. So I'll allow for the motion to be withdrawn. Probation, we're going to alternate amend conditions to include state ISF, but also a re-referral to felony drug court. And if felony drug court doesn't accept him, just keep him in line for state ISF. And counsel, you'll have to talk to felony drug court.
Who's a good contact for you, Judge?
The court coordinator is Diana Zamaroon. And
Okay.
also, Judge Glenn is the judge over there. But if you ask Caroline, she'll be able to give you the information, or either Norma.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Is there anything else you need from me, Mr. Dash?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And probation, there's going to be no contact with. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll help get his meds. The felony drug court.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Enjoy jury duty. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 8978, State of Texas versus
Didani Yorro.
Didani Yarborough. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state.
Suzanne
Defense.
Kramer for Mr. Yarborough.
And are you Mr. Yarborough?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea of burglary of a habitation with intent to commit felony force. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State is silent on your application, and this will run concurrent with 696-403. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state,
Yes, Judge.
defense?
Yes, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report, state,
Nothing from the state.
defense? All right, Mr. Yarborough, you entered a plea on August 21st of no contest. I reviewed the stipulations. I'm unsure if it was said on the record, but I believe it was by Judge Angelini. The court is finding that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court is deferring finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. State is silent on your application. Defenses, do you have any witnesses?
No, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, I believe the PSI speaks for itself. It speaks to the love that his family has for this. I have had many conversations with Mr. Yarborough about him needing to, that you're going to want an explanation for what was he thinking that day, because he's basically a good kid. you know, he doesn't get into trouble. And he, you know, he's been taking full responsibility for all of his actions. And I think he's a great candidate for deferred adjudication probation on this, especially when the complainant forgives him, doesn't want him, is fine with him getting probation and kind of wants them back in their lives, although there isn't no contact with her. But she doesn't have the child. She's the grandmother. So he said it's okay if you keep that no contact while he's on the deferred.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Donnie Yarborough.
All right. So before I begin asking you questions,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to tell you something right here now. Whenever my brothers were late for their curfew that my mom set down, you know what they would always try to tell her? I don't belong in a gang. I haven't committed any crimes. I don't do any drugs. So don't give me that, you know, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because people who are obeying the law shouldn't be doing any of that.
Yes, ma'am.
So how old is your daughter?
She's just turned 3 in July 17th.
All right. So,
Yes, ma'am. And I have another one on the way due in November. Next week will be the mother of my child's 8th month.
all right. And is this the mother of the other child as well?
No, ma'am.
All right. So you're just procreating.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you understand where babies come from?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you can't support your children, you should not be having a lot of children. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So why were you smoking marijuana?
Coping mechanism.
All right. So it is very bad for a child to come to their grandmother's house smelling like marijuana.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think it's appropriate for your children to smoke marijuana?
No, ma'am, not at all.
Well, that's what you did with your baby. Because if you're smoking marijuana around them, which obviously you were, because otherwise the baby wouldn't smell like marijuana, the baby's clothes wouldn't smell like marijuana, we would not be here.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that the grandmother loves her grandchild
Yes, ma'am.
and wants what's best for her grandchild,
Yes, ma'am.
wouldn't do anything to hurt her grandchild.
Most definitely. Yes, ma'am.
You've been doing things to hurt your grandchild. I mean, to hurt your child. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So are you diagnosed mentally with anything?
ADHD, but that's all. That's no excuse. No.
No, there is not. You
Yes,
should
ma'am.
not be using marijuana. And
Yes,
the
ma'am.
court is not going to allow you to use marijuana in this court while you're on probation. It is illegal in Texas to use marijuana.
Yes, ma'am.
If I grant your application for deferred adjudication, and if you use marijuana while you're on probation, guess what? A motion to revoke is going to be filed and you're looking at life in prison.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's up to you to decide whether potentially going to prison for life is worth that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you employed?
I will be as soon as I get out. That's no problem.
Have you been employed before?
Yes, ma'am.
Doing what?
Warehouse and construction, manual labor, irrigation, road work, Amazon warehouse.
All right. And how old are you?
I just turned 26 in July.
All right. And how far did you go in school?
I have my high school diploma and I have my associates in St. Philip's College,
And what?
art.
And what are you planning on doing with this art degree?
Really want to own my own business, but it's steps to that. I still have to pick up the knowledge, but
Okay.
more is to
So
come.
how does, and you know, I think art is great. One of my brothers was great in art and still is great in art, but how does you going to get your art degree translate into, I want to own my own business? Is your art going to be connected to that?
Yes, ma'am. Starting cartoons, drawing magazines, trying to get it in the newspaper,
So what
Things like
steps are you going to take to do that?
owning my own name, business logo, business account.
Okay.
Still learning and picking up the knowledge to do so.
All right. And how often were you using marijuana?
I say twice a week.
Nobody uses marijuana twice a week.
I get drug tested at jobs, so
You figured out when you could get a negative test?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you used anything other than marijuana?
Alcohol, but that's occasionally birthdays, holidays, Thanksgiving, you know.
While you're on
Christmas-
probation, you're not allowed to drink alcohol. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court will do. Court will sentence you to 10 years, deferred adjudication. I'm going to request parenting classes. And you're very lucky that the grandmother didn't want you to go to prison. So we're going to do parenting classes, 200 hours of community service restitution. If he enrolls or obtains a business certificate so you can better yourself and completes the parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. So to satisfy those 200 hours of community service restitution, you can go out and do community service hours, or either you can better yourself. And bettering yourself would mean you take parenting classes and you get a certificate or something that shows me you're taking steps to accomplish in life what you want to accomplish.
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. When's the last time you used marijuana?
5 months ago.
All right, so he should be clean. So when he's released, we're going to do a UA. If for some reason when he's released, it's positive for marijuana, start testing for levels.
And Judge, to let you know, he's set on the DWI tomorrow. I'm not his lawyer on that, but it's a JSAT, so he won't get out today. It'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Okay. And then proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm going to order no unsupervised contact with minors until you complete parenting classes. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can have contact with your child, but someone has to supervise. And if the grandmother,
It can't be her because there's no contact.
well, there's a no contact under this case. If for some reason the grandmother wants to have contact and wants to be the person who supervises, just let probation and myself know, and I'll lift the no contact order.
Thank you, Judge.
We're going to do anger management. So no contact with right. And this is supposed to run concurrent with County Court Cause number 6964003. And there's to be, I'm going to follow the recommendation for the TAP evaluation, which is intensive outpatient treatment with probation. And there's to be weekly sober support meetings. And I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. And after that probation, if you think all is well and he no longer needs field visits, you all can do the field visits as you see appropriate. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Mr. Yarborough, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled trial court certification. Oh, just one moment. Let me see if they did this in here. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record from here on out. Everything you do, there are 2 questions you should ask yourself. 1, is the decision I'm about to make and what I'm about to do, could it potentially result in me going to prison for life? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is, it could, maybe it couldn't, don't do it. That whole thing that you're doing with your job where you know when they're testing you, So you're saying, well, I use marijuana on this day, not on this day, so I can get a negative test. Don't do that here because it may not catch you the first time, but ultimately it's going to catch you. And then you know what's going to end up happening? Warrant's going to be issued for your arrest. You're either going to make bond or you're not. If you don't make bond, you're going to be at the jail. You're going to be brought over in orange. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And just as a side note, how tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Thank you. All right.
Thank
Do
you.
better.
You have a wonderful day. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
You
you,
too.
Judge.
Thank you. Court is calling 2023 CR 6993, State of Texas versus Nicholas Rivera Borja. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Warren Wolf for Mr. Borha.
Are you Mr. Borja?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
We have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Borja, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged by indictment with possession of a controlled substance? Penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea, gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state recommends deferred adjudication. They're asking for $57 restitution to SAPD for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state,
Yes, Your Honor.
showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 5 years and that there be a TAP evaluation. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea?
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objection.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, he is a native of Guam, which is a U.S. territory. He's moved to Texas for the last 3 years. He's been actively working, currently employed at Hollingsworth the last 6 months, previously at J.B. Hunt. This is an aberration, and we ask that you follow the plea bargain. I asked him if he would test positive for any controlled substances today, and he said no. And I believe I explained to him the requirements of a drug-related probation, deferred classes, testing, and he understands them fully. And I believe he'll be able to successfully complete the terms of a deferred and even hopefully come in sooner and ask for early termination. I explained that to him as well.
All right. So do you have any criminal history?
Parole history?
I'm sorry,
You said parole history?
criminal history.
Criminal. No.
Have you ever been charged with any crime other than this?
No.
All right, when you're drug tested today, and you will get drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative.
All right, when's the last time you used?
That would be
And that would be an illegal.
No. When's the last time you used drugs?
a month before this happened.
So you're telling me you were riding around with drugs in your car and you hadn't used, and that officer is saying you had a lighter underneath your leg?
It was in my car.
Yes. So when's the last time you used drugs?
A month before.
I'm sorry?
A month before.
So you hadn't used
No, the
drugs that
lighter
day?
was for my cigarette.
I'm sorry?
The lighter was for
Mhm.
my cigarette.
So you're saying that you have not used any drugs since a month before this incident?
Besides marijuana.
That's a drug. So when's the last time you used marijuana?
That would be the day of.
All right, so let me explain something to you. I'm trying to figure out what conditions to give you because I don't do cookie cutter conditions. Everybody doesn't get the same thing in this court
Mhm.
because everybody's an individual. So we're going to start back over. I'm inclined to grant your application for deferred, but I need to know what type of candidate you would be on deferred. And if you have a drug or alcohol problem, I don't want to send you out in the world with you telling me you have a drug problem. I'm like, just do whatever.
Mhm.
But if you tell me that you're going to test negative, I am going to test you. And if it ends up being positive, we're going to have a problem.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So when's the last time you used? And I'm just asking for honesty here because I'm trying to give you conditions on probation that will help you successfully complete your probation. That's my job.
Mhm.
If you have a drug problem and you tell me you have a drug problem and I don't give you any help for that and you fail with drugs, that's on me. But if you are dishonest with me and you fail on drugs, that's 100% on you. So are you going to be positive today? Oh, no.
What?
Excuse me. Are you going to be positive today because you are getting a drug test today?
Yes.
What are you going to be positive for?
I don't know.
All right. Anything else?
That would be all.
All right.
Maybe
Bef-
alcohol.
All right. Alcohol. Anything else?
That would be all.
All right. Before we continue with your sentencing, I'm going to have him drug tested. And then we'll see where we are. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Probation. If we can get a drug test. Where's his attorney? Oh, there he is. Those are all the cases, correct? All right. All right, we're back on the record in 2023, CR 6993, State of Texas versus Nicholas Borha. My understanding, you completed the UA?
Yes.
All right.
He was
What-
having some trouble, Judge. He was nervous. It took a while.
Oh, that's okay. It happens. What are the results?
Positive for meth.
All right. So you didn't mention the meth to the court. So how often are you using meth?
It was in the form.
And
of
you're
the
still
act.
under oath. How often are you using meth?
Well, I did that like a couple days ago.
Okay, you need to speak up. I'm
I
sorry.
did that a couple days ago.
All right. So how often do you use?
I'd say weekly.
All right. Why were you dishonest with me? I'm just trying to give you the help you need. I already told you I was inclined to grant your application. If I send you out in the world and you have a meth problem and I don't give you help for that, you're going to be right back here on a motion to revoke because meth is illegal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
I work at Hollingsworth. We package board parts.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
6 months.
All right. Do they drug test?
Yes.
And you're passing their drug test? Okay. Do you live with anyone or do you live by yourself?
I stay with a family friend.
All right. Do you have any children?
No.
How far did you go in school?
High school.
What are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
Well, I was planning on moving to Florida, but the rest of my life, I don't know yet. Still
Well,
figuring that out.
you say planning to move to Florida. Do you have family in Florida? Or that's just a dream.
I have family.
Who's your family in Florida?
My brother.
All right. Have you talked to your brother? Does your brother want you in Florida with him?
Yes.
All right. What part of Florida?
Sarasota.
What county is that?
Not too sure.
See, part of getting ready to move to a place, you got to know what county or parish it is. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court will do. Court will sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. $0 fine. $57 restitution to SAPD for drug testing. Transfer to Sarasota, Florida. I'll have to look up to see what county that is. You are not transferred and you cannot go to Florida until the transfer is actually granted. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm going to want 90 sober meetings in 90 days. A TAP evaluation. We'll follow the recommendations of TAP. If TAP recommends inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. If it recommends intensive outpatient treatment, we'll start with outpatient treatment. And regular UAs. And I say regular UAs, I want UAs on him once a month, but I want them to be random once a month. Okay. Oh, then I guess I should have said random monthly UAs. That makes it easy, right? So we'll do random monthly UAs because I think he is able to beat the test at his job. So we're going to do field visits 1 time per month until transfer. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. And I'm putting that down because until you're clean and sober, you should not be around minors. You understand?
Yes.
All right. Well, you can be around minors, but there has to be an adult supervision. Once you're clean and sober, and that's been brought to my attention, then that may change. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Probation. Is there anything else he needs? All right. Is there anything you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
You sure? Any mental health issues that you need addressed through probation or anything of that nature? Any trauma?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We can go off the record. From here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, is this something that could result in me going to prison for 20 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. And the next time you're before a judge or before me, when somebody is trying to help you and you think they're trying to help you, you need to be honest with them. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.